Hey, this is Dr. Corey Gilbert with the Healthy Marriage Inner Circle and the Warrior Marriage Podcast. Look forward to talking to you today. And today I want to talk about harsh startups. It's a term that John Gottman, I think, coined, and maybe someone else, but I've heard it through him. But here are some things that we need to avoid when it comes to harsh startups. And what's a harsh startup? It's when my wife and I, my spouse and I get into a tiff, a disagreement. Those first few words are critical. Those first sentences set the tone for what happens next. And so if my words are, and here are the three things to be careful, and you've heard these, I'm sure, before: you always, you never, and you are. You always, you never, you are. You always leave your stuff laying around the house. Do they? No, they don't. You never clean up after yourself. Is that true? No. You are so inconsiderate. Are they always? It's back to the always never, because it really could be just those two. But careful with this you. That's a dangerous way to enter into the conversation. Part of the little tweaks that can change the culture and the environment and the feel of a family and a marriage is changing the way we use words, use vocabulary, use our choice of words. When I enter in the conversation with you, it's like I'm pointing at you and I'm threatening even. Things are not going to necessarily go well. Versus if I start off with a more of a I'm wondering if, or I'm curious, I'm in a place of questions, but not with threat. Think about that. So you always, you never, or you are. Careful with that. Make it more I statements, less you statements. And actually that's what changes that harsh startup, or gets rid of that harsh startup, so that you can enter into a dialogue. Now, fast forward just a little bit into the dialogue. If your heart rate gets up above 90 beats per minute, we are no longer thinking very well. Too straight. We actually tend to be thinking quite clouded, I guess you could say. We are flooded with adrenaline. We're stressed. We tend to say things we don't mean, with probably grains of truth, which is scary. So one of the rules of thumb for some couples is if your heart rate gets above 90 beats per minute, stop. Take a break. You need permission to do that, but take a break. And then come back in a little bit once your heart rate calms down. Then, if the heart rate goes back up, stop. Come back. And what you do is you start teaching that we're not going to have these discussions that our heart rate goes flying up and we get out of control. Now, if you remember what I've talked about before, there's different types of conflict. And there are couples that have the volatile conflict style, and they're actually very healthy. They blow up, get it out, move on. And if both are okay with that, then we're okay. If one is that way and the other one's not okay with that, we need to find a new dance. Because oftentimes this person blows up and this person shrinks. This person blows up, this one shrinks more. We don't want that. We want to be drawing them in. And it's a relationship in that dance of conflict. Conflict is one of the key areas and revealing areas of the health of a marriage. Just like trauma. You find out the true, honest depth and beautiful, or not so much, health, I guess, of the marriage in trauma, in junk, in hard times. When a diagnosis comes, when there's a loss of something, job or house, or close family member passes away, in grief, that's where we find out where we're really at. And I don't wish that on anyone, but the honest truth is it's in those places that it makes us stronger. That in those times of hurt and pain, we draw closer to one another if we're healthy. If we're not doing that, if we're not drawing closer, then it's a sign of something that needs help, that we need intervention, usually outside intervention, to help teach tools or have a different conversation so that we can actually be strong in the time of strife, in the time of struggle. So I hope you are actually going to now be more intentional at focusing on how do I handle conflict and what is my first startup phrases and comments, and are they blaming, are they attacking them, are they hurting my best friend? Because none of that's acceptable, and that you don't have a harsh startup so that you can actually have a healthy marriage. Bless you, and may you actually have a healthy marriage. Hey there, it's Dr. Corey Gilbert from the Healthy Marriage Inner Circle and the Warrior Marriage Podcast. I would love to actually dialogue more with you. I'm working on building a free Facebook group to actually do more of this and teach more and talk more and actually serve you with specific questions you have. You can check it out at facebook.com/group/thehealthymarriage. It's a free Facebook group, and I want to actually continue to invest in you and help you invest in your marriage and your family to build something that you're proud of and that's strong and that can endure hard times. So again, bless you, and may you build a healthy marriage.